If everyone around you tells you you should be doing events and you're still not doing anything about it, this video will change that for you. I know, because I was you. And then I did it for 22 years. And today I'm going to show you exactly how you can as well. All right, so before I go any further, I'm going to give something away in this video. So make sure you stay till the end, because you'll get my event profit calculator checklist so that you can do your events very easily. This list I've used to organize my events from 50 people on a bus ride or a couple hundred people in a bar till 300-400 people and thousands of people. So this is going to be a great one. So hang on for this one, because this list and checklist will actually take the guesswork away from what you're going to look for and what you're going to do. But first, let me tell you why you're stuck. Here's what's really going on. You're a natural connector. People love hanging out with you. You organize all the dinner parties. You organize all the outings, the gatherings, getting people together, getting them excited about someone else's party, or sometimes your own parties, but you don't know how to monetize it. That's going to change after you watch this video. What the hell am I waiting for? I'm amazing at it. Everyone tells me so, yet I'm still not pulling the trigger. Guess what? That is so much me when I started out in the beginning as well. I did it as a hobby because I enjoyed bringing people around, and people gladly paid for it. Gladly. They would throw money at my parties, but I just want to say, oh, I just want to break even. I just want to have a little profit so I don't lose any money. And that's the wrong idea. And I'm going to help you change that, okay? So hang tight. And you're even questioning yourself, can I actually make some real money from this? That's also going to change. So the logistics, you don't know how to negotiate the venue. You don't know how to deal with the check-in. You don't know how to work with sponsors. You don't know how to work with the crew. You don't know how to do all the production and the setup. Guess what? This is what I became an expert at. So I will help you make money on night one, not after 10 events or trial and errors where you lose a ton of money. That's not what this video is about. And guess what? You probably Googled how to be an event planner, how to be a party thrower. You probably are just cringing at the courses that you see out there. What I am doing, it's not giving you a course. I'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll show you exactly what to do. And this is not one of those generic event planning courses that has nothing to do with the nightlife club type of social events and fun outings that I did. Anything from taking a bunch of people to go see a concert, or organizing a beach party, or doing an event in a park that actually turned everything upside down, that made people connect with each other, because that's really what we're all looking for today. The connection, somebody to make friends with, have fun with, right? So you're not looking to do the typical corporate events or boring stuff like that. This is an event that brings in people that wants to be around the other people that are there. It's a big friends of friends network that you build, and that's exactly what it is. So the real reason that you haven't started isn't logistics. You just haven't given yourself permission yet. And why do you wait for that? And you may even have a partner that needs convincing, or a friend or a parent. Guess what? They are not you. And who ever told you that throwing events and parties is a real career? I've gotten that thrown in my face multiple times. Some people laughed at me when I said, oh, you're throwing parties for a living? Oh, I remember this story one time. This girl said that to me. We were with a common friend. So she says, Alf, you throw parties for a living? And she said it in a derogatory tone. And I was like, oh my God, you have no idea how hard I work. And also how good I am at it. I didn't say that to her, right? But I knew it, because I was already experienced and very successful at that point. And I probably worked 10 times as hard as her, but guess what? I enjoyed it. It wasn't work for me. It was fun. And she would never, ever even get close to what I had. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with that story now. Let's continue. And here's the big thing. And nobody in your life this far has shown you how you can actually make a living at it and make a great career. Nobody has shown you that so far. And once you learn how to do that, you can say to yourself, I am good at gathering people. I am great at creating events. I am creative, and I bring people together and we build something. And that's exactly where I want to take you. Guess what? I came to the US as a young man, started college. I was going to follow in my father's footsteps. I was going to be a brand manager in the food industry. I was looking at Del Monte, Nestle, Tri-Valley Growers, big Fortune 500 companies, which I actually worked in for about 3 years. And I found out I hated it. Guess what? But at the same time, as universe would have it, I started organizing events. I started doing that when I was in college, the first semester, and everything changed because of that. I realized I was actually good at gathering people. Guess what? In Norway, we don't go dating one-on-one. That's like, ooh, what's that? No, we go out in groups. And if something happens within the group, the friends of friends, then we connect, and then we become boy-girlfriend. And that's exactly how it works. And that's how I took that concept to the US with my energy and with my excitement for that, because I was good at that. I was always been on teams and stuff like that. And I learned how to do that, and people loved it. And that made it a less of a, what do you call it? High pressure thing. Oh, I got to find somebody, or blah, blah, blah. It was more casual, and it made it easier for everyone that was there. And I made sure that nobody was a wallflower or stood alone. I would introduce somebody to mingle. And that's what we always do to make everyone feel comfortable. That's where we're going with this. So guess what? Fast forward 20, 22 years. I had no internet in the beginning because it was just like 1986. But I invented a system how you could refer people by giving VIP passes in exchange for a contact information. I remember we even faxed out invitation. Many of you haven't even seen a fax machine. And I built a list of 20,000 people. May not sound that big to you, but guess what? That was a very powerful list. And we had the best people because it was friends of friends that built. Started with 50 to 20, 50 people. 50 people on a bus. 50 people invited another 50 people. And it grew out. Slowly, but with very clear motivation in mind to get like-minded people to join us. We had some of the founders of PayPal come to our parties. You heard me talk about that many times. Founder of Hotmail, many executives from Google, and many from in Silicon Valley. So I targeted a very specific group that I was into, which was international, mixed, and a well-educated high-end crowd. So we'll get more into that later, not in this video, but that's kind of my niche that I went after. So again, just to specify, I didn't find 20,000 people right away. No, I found the first 50 and then promoted through those 50 and then promoted through those 100, and it grew exponentially. And I remember one time we were actually going 8 buses to go see this concert at the UC Berkeley outside the Greek theater. And one friend of mine pulled me aside. We were standing back a little bit, looking at the 400 people inside the concert with Spanish hats, light sticks that you broke at night so they would light up, with red bandanas on, sponsored by Jose Cuervo. And he said to me, and I get a little emotional when I talk about this, he said, Alf, why are you doing these events? Because he knew that I'd done all these events, right? And I said, because of that. And I pointed to the 400 people that were having a blast with each other, hanging out with each other, making new friends, dancing, enjoying the concert, enjoying life. That's why I do it, because of that. Now, let me be real with you, why I'm different and why this is different and how you will be different too. Because this was not corporate event planning. It was real life planning with fun thrown into the mix all the time. I always had a principle that if I was going to do an event, I was going to do an event that I enjoyed. But obviously I was smart enough to know if I was the only one enjoying it, with the other people enjoy it. So I would ask them, say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? Then I got feedback and I go, that's a good idea. And I learned something by talking to these friends of mine and saying, okay, maybe do it this way. Maybe that's not the right thing. Because sometimes you can, if you put too much craziness into it, which I love to do sometimes, like, you have to dress up a certain way and this and that. Sometimes that was a little too much and I got that feedback. So, okay, so let's adjust it a little bit. So anyway, this is not your typical type of event planning at all. What I did was find something that people truly enjoyed for our people. And that's really what made it click. And that's the goal that I'm sharing with you too. And that's what you will take away from my experience and how I set these events and how I particularly kept that strongly in mind. Here's a little mentality thing about me. When I was going to do something, I always go for the best. Here's a little example. Like, I stopped playing soccer when I moved to the US because for different reasons. I started a new sport called footbag or hacky sack. And I always wanted to be good in sport, very competitive. So one of the things that I happened to be very lucky with was that some of the world's best players lived in the Bay Area. And hacky sack is a team sport where you play over a badminton net. You may not have heard about it. It's a small sport. But I trained very specifically and hard for 8 years, and I became number 2 in the world in doubles footbag net and number 3 in singles footbag net. Why am I sharing you this? Because when I'm doing things, I go all in. It's not some half-ass thing. Lots of energy, lots of momentum, and I would bring people with me. Because you see, that energy, that excitement that you have for your events, that's really, really key. Because I could meet somebody on the street that I never met before, and I would tell them about my party, and I say, here's a VIP pass, you're my guest, bring a couple of friends. They would be fired up, and I knew that they would turn around and bring 10, 15, 20 more people. And not only that, I could market through them once I got their information. People have a limited mind when it comes to giving away VIP passes. This is something I learned from one of my mentors too. I'm not going to get into that here, but you have to have the momentum. If you don't have the momentum, you're dead in your tracks. And I am a big part of that with my parties, why they were so successful. That was a really big part of my my character, how I did that. And I'll teach you exactly how I do that. I have some fantastic techniques for that. Sure, I will show you how to do the logistics and all of these things, but I tell you one thing, those are easy. The magic is in how you get the right people there, how you use your energy to project that through, and the techniques you use in promotion. Sure, logistics and everything are very important. I actually am a very detailed-oriented person. I have checklists for everything I did and do, and I will share those with you, of course, so don't worry about that part. But the biggest thing that I bring to the table is my creativity and promotion and bringing the right group of people together and how you build off of other people's energy and contacts, because you cannot do this alone. And like Oprah says and Maya Angelou, they said, you can never succeed alone. I always believe in connecting with other people, to move much faster. So the more people you help, the faster you're going to grow as well. Another thing I would add in here too, I never had problems at my parties. Actually, I'll be honest, one small fight in 22 years, which was handled immediately by my security staff and everything. No drugs, because I was very much against that, because my reputation I would leverage get into venues. Like, for instance, I would be at the best hotels in San Francisco, the Fairmont Hotel, the Hilton, the Regency down on Union Square, and all these other buildings and venues that I would go to. So my reputation would precede me. Very often people would come to me and say, Alf, can you throw an event here? Because I'd love to have your crowd here. So that's the kind of thing you want to start setting yourself up for as well, and I'll show you exactly how you do that. So let me get into some of the nitty-gritty here. So what does it look like if you end up working with me? Let me talk about a couple of things here. You will have one-on-one coaching directly with me. Not somebody else, not somebody that replaced me or an assistant. No, me. On the phone, on the video, or on a call in a group message, in a group setting sometimes. I tell you why. Because I would bring other party planners into the mix, because you could feed off of each other. And collectively, we're much smarter than what I am and you are individually. But the sum of the parts is much greater. So as a group, we're so much stronger and more collective, and the higher collective intelligence, and that's exactly what I'll help you reach as well. So you'll have direct access to me, and also via WhatsApp. So you will never be left alone, and I will walk you through everything, and I'll be there along your side as we get through this. And we strategize. We think of creative things. We think about venues, how to set it up, how to use it in your marketing, who you're going to invite, how are you going to invite them. All these things we do. And so we plan your first event together, the next event together. So however many events you're doing during those 6 months, there's no limitations on that. So just in case you wonder about that. And I'm here to look at me as a business partner. However, I don't take any part of your proceeds or anything like that. So I'm here to ensure that you don't miss out some important things. And that's you will not fail. You'll also have access to me on WhatsApp. So that, let's say, you're at a venue or you wonder about something and I happen to be available, then just shoot me a quick message on WhatsApp, and I'll be happy to answer it very quickly. Obviously, I'm not online all the time, but you get the picture. I'm always available via WhatsApp at some point, okay? I'll teach you the system, how you go by getting the friends of friends system. It may sound simple to you, but maybe it's not. And I use some very specific techniques that we'll get into as well, that will blow your mind, because it's one of the big things I took away from one of my mentors. So expect a transformation. Expect some kind of a big switch in the way you may have done parties before, or your small events or what have you. I will help you bridge that gap so that you can get to the real core of what this group is going to be about. And we will use the technology of today as well. AI, I'm big on that. Social media, yes. To some degree, not always the same way, but we will definitely use it. And I'm going to learn stuff from you too. So it's a give and take, because you're doing certain things that I may not have thought of or might work today that didn't work in my day. So I'm not going to talk about specific numbers, but you are going to be surprised how much good money you can make from some of these events if you do them right. And very often, it was the unexpected events that made more money than I expected sometimes. And you learn to work with partners and sponsors. And sometimes I even set up my event so I was break even before the party started. So there's many ways to do that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about you. One thing you may be saying to yourself, oh, I don't have the money to invest in something like this right now. I rather just be in my job and make sure I have my safe income. Well, my question to you, how long are you going to do that until you do make the switch? Because you know just as well as I do, you're not happy in that job. That's another story, a true story. One time I was in a job in the corporate world, being a concierge in an office. I'm not going to mention the company. But they treated me so bad. They promised all kinds of things and this and that. And one day I said, F it. I just sent a message. I was actually not so good, but I did. I sent a message out to the entire office. I'm resigning now. And I just got up on my computer and I marched out, and I got a standing ovation by people there. And a few coworkers came with me out too. And I just walked out of there. I fired myself. And guess what? That's when I started my event planning. I am not in any way suggesting that you do that, but this is just how I just had it. So my question to you is, when are you going to make sure that you pull the trigger? You can't sit there forever. You got to do something, right? Nothing happens until something moves. That's Einstein. You better listen to it. So this is actually an investment that will change your future forever. And you will learn some amazing skills. And you will also be extremely well connected wherever it is that you end up doing your events, because you are a connector as well. And you help people have a better social life, and you connect people in a natural way. Very often I found somebody that's like looking for a job in a company, and I happen to know that somebody else worked in that company. I say, hey, you guys should talk. I didn't really get involved much beyond that, just like I also didn't do with if I knew a girl was looking for a boyfriend. I wasn't like pushing her over or helping her over to meet another guy and set it up awkwardly. if I could do it naturally, which I actually did, it was a skill I also had, just let them meet each other, and I didn't say anything per se. But people figure stuff like that out, right? They're not stupid, but also some people struggle with that. So you can be the social instigator that creates that safe environment and that circle and all of that. So I'm getting into other things that I don't know why I'm talking about. It's just something that you will be part of as well. And that's something that creates value with your friends that are coming to these events. So you may be even asking yourself, what if I throw an event and nobody shows up? Well, that's why you engage somebody like me, so that we avoid that, because you do not want that to happen. I've actually been very fortunate. It's never happened to me because I came out the gate flying, and I learned something by myself actually very quickly, that I need to pack the place. And I knew that also from back home, even though I hadn't thrown parties in other places. I had parties at home, but I always made sure I had the energy was there and the people and the bodies were there. So you never want to have a 300 people show up to a party where the room holds 500, or God forbid 1,000. Your party will die, and people will talk about it. They will be 10 times as hard to make it successful the next time, because getting those same people back is going to be a tough one. And then you may even say to yourself, oh, isn't this party thing only for kids or young people that are in their 18, 20, 21, 25, 30? No, absolutely not. I became let's call it a professional party thrower when I was like 35, 40. That was natural to me. So absolutely not. As a matter of fact, you will have more contacts and more maturity and stuff like that, and you can come across to venue owners and sponsors in a better way too. So even though the young crowd that I'm also talking to here, you have a lot of enthusiasm and access to a different group of people that the sponsors might be looking for. So a bird of a feather flocks together, right? So keep that in mind. Very often when I do these parties, I also look for people that are struggling socially. Let me try to explain that. And it's not a negative way. I'm not looking for somebody that is like a misfit and doesn't fit in. I always like to help people. If I could go out of my way to make somebody happy or make a connection that would help them, that would really make me happy. And I do this to this very day. I'm actually looking for people constantly that I can help, because I know the more people I help, the more energy and more positive things I create around me. And very often I get help from other people, more people that way too. As a matter of fact, that is what always happens. And this is really what you are about, I hope. Where you're going into this game, you want to take your energy, you want to help people, put people together, and have fun at the same time as well. And I tell you one thing, which I say a lot in these videos, these parties will not happen if I also didn't have fun. I swear to God, because I would be one of the first people on the dance floor. I would dance and sweat through all my clothes. I always wear black pants and a white shirt, so it didn't look too bad. And that was just one of the things that I had. And that energy was projected through all the others as well. And the philosophy goes back to the parties I had. Very often I had 3-4 rooms that I did events, and I made sure that everyone had fun in the room. That could sound difficult sometimes, but let me tell you a more concrete example that I did. On the 8 buses I took one time to go see the Gypsy Kings over at the Berkeley Greek Theater, I had very specific people be leaders on each bus. And I had made tapes. We had tapes in the old days with music, and I had drinks for each bus. I had maracas and tambourines. All these things were given to one leader on each bus. And those were people, they were actually part of they were paying guests. And they just made sure that all the buses were happening and everybody had fun. So those are the kind of things I would find out or try to figure out in my party event, as well as the different rooms were being built. Like one room, for instance, I would have a salsa class early on. And another room, we'll do a happy hour and appetizers, and a sponsor might be presenting their stuff. And in another room, we'll do different things. But I always try to make sure that I have enough energy for each room. So now I'm getting into technical things of it, but I don't mean to do that. But you build one room at a time. That's one little piece of advice I could give you if you want to take that for free. So why am I sitting here talking to you? It's a long video, and I really appreciate you still being here. What I am after is that I'm looking for somebody like you, somebody that could build this crowd in your city, in your environment. You may be even in the same city as somebody else that I'm also teaching, but we will have access to different groups. So I never look at that as competition. As a matter of fact, I invited my competition into my parties because I took my parties to another level. And I was the one that organized everything and figured everything out. And the others got to ride off of that because they weren't thinking as big and as creatively as I did in many ways, or they didn't even want to take it on. Whereas I said, hey, I can do this. Let's bring everyone together. So we had the Persians, we had the Russians, we had the Latinos, we had the Europeans, we had the Scandinavians. I mean, I mixed it all together. So figure out if that's something you want to do. I can help you with that too as well. All right, so back to what I promised you in the beginning. The Event Profit Starter Checklist. Okay, so you're here. There'll be a link below that you will be able to click on to claim that. And I want you to check it out because that'll help you map out your first event. And it kind of give you a feel of how are you going to be profitable? How many people are you expecting? What's the venue? How many people are going to be on the VIP list? And what kind of sponsors are you working with? Are you working with one sponsor, two sponsors, three sponsors? What are they going to give to you, either in cash or in kind? So those are the kind of things I worked with as well, because very often I would have a sponsor that didn't necessarily give me cash, but I had a sponsor that would sponsor most of my events. He would always give me a limo. So I used the limo 2-3 weeks before the party, filled it with 20-25 people, and we hit the town and promoted. And we went from party to party. And we took care of all these people and created a party around the promotion. So we had a pre-party for us with food and drinks. We might even have dressed up all in similar clothes like we did for White Nights. We all dressed in white. We had wigs on. And we hit the town and passed out VIP passes and flyers. So we created momentum. And I get goosebumps when I think about that. So you can do so many things. And that's this checklist. Doesn't go into details on that, but how are you going to do that? So it helps you walk you through some of the steps to get a bird's eye view of what it is that your outcome can be. And it's actually more than a bird's eye view, actually. Yeah, that's wrong what I said there. It gives you a good idea of what your projections could be. So that's you want to click for that link below, okay, for sure. And you also watch this video because something clicked with what I said, or something clicked inside you. Why don't you also click on the link below? You can set up a conversation with me. You can schedule it right there, so make sure it fits your schedule as well. And we can chat for about 5-10 minutes, and I'll be happy to give you insights and share whatever techniques that I'm working on, or whatever. Maybe you have a party in mind and you wonder how you two would pull it off. I'll be happy to give you feedback. And you just want to sit and chat with me and see if this is something for you. That's all it is. There's no obligations at all, but click that link below and set up a phone conversation with me. I'll be looking forward to meeting you. And you should also join my Party Profit Secrets community, where you can hang out in a free community and meet other like-minded people. So make sure you also at least look for that and make yourself a member on my Skool account. All right? All right. So you already have the gift. You just don't have the playbook, and you don't have access to me the way you should be for the next 6 months. So I've said it many times. Click on that link below. Let's connect. Let's have a chat. I'm easy going, and I'm sure you are as well, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. And here's my famous high five. And click below, get those different benefits and the giveaway, and I'll see you on the other side. Looking forward to meeting you in person. Cheers. Bye.